All right, moving on. The number 3 team in the Big Ten last year, Nebraska. Nebraska ball made the tournament. I was not necessarily a Nebraska respecter last season. I frequently described them as a power of friendship team, and I think I stand by that because it's not like they did anything once they made the tournament. They lose Casey Tominaga, sharpshooter. I think the rest of the Big Ten is very happy that he is no longer in the conference. CJ Wilcher, Josiah Illick, and Ringmast is out for the season after off-season surgery, which is definitely a blow to this Nebraska team. Bryce Williams and Jawan Gary are back. They add Gavin Griffiths from Rutgers and Connor Esigian from Wisconsin. So a little bit of a who's who of Big Ten players here. Plus, Aaron Eulis will play after not playing last season. So it really is just a hodgepodge of players from other Big Ten teams. Alex, talk to me about Nebraska. What do you envision here for this interesting collection of players?
I'm kind of fascinated to see how Hoiberg runs that offense through, because they did it with Rink Mass last year. I believe they did it some, if memory serves me right, with Derek Walker when he was kind of at that 5. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like duos in the conference, Williams and Gary are probably up there just in terms of what they kind of provide on both ends. The stock couldn't be lower for Sejan and Gavin Griffiths, but they're both good shooters. Like, can Sejan get back any of the confidence he had his freshman year at Wisconsin? Like, it was gone last year. He couldn't get on the floor. But yeah, man, I really don't know. I was struggling with this because I do feel. I mean, again, people are already saying it, but the outlook for this team is totally different if Rink Mass is on the floor. Like the conversation probably changes to back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances. Can they get the program's first ever win in the big dance? So, yeah, I think they're probably in the basement of this conference, but that doesn't mean they won't be competitive. This Hoiberg will have them right there in the thick of games, and I don't think anyone's going to want to go play in Lincoln. So, can't imagine seeing that a couple years ago either.
I will say to Connor Esigian, I think he won the breakup here.
Really?
I think I'm a little bit higher on Nebraska than I am on Wisconsin. I mean, we'll talk about Wisconsin, but and he might even start. Like, who's to say? Because it looks like it'll probably be. They have Raleigh Worcester coming in. He's the transfer from Utah, 6'5", senior point guard. Played 31 minutes a game last year. Not really a scorer, not super efficient, but more of like a table setter. He averaged 5.5 assists per game last year, so they'll absolutely take that. Then you have Williams and Gary in the starting lineup. Probably one of Griffiths or Esigian, if I had to guess. Yeah. And then they'll have Braxton Mia come in from Washington, who was sort of in a reserve type, not really reserve type role, but just like came off the bench, 17 minutes a game. Gave Washington 5 and 5. But he's 7'1", and that's kind of what you need in the Big Ten, is just a guy who's 7'1". So, yeah, it's an interesting team. I'm not crazy high on them. I don't think the ceiling is super high. But Williams and Gary will kind of do their thing. And there's a chance, like, they surprised last year. Maybe they go, like, 8-12 in the Big Ten this year. And it's like, that's probably better than if you just, like, ask me point blank. I don't know that I'd predict them to win 8 games in the Big Ten, but that's definitely within the realm of possibility. Like, win 8 or 9 games and kind of be in that, like, middle of the pack, just the giant blob that forms from, like, 6-12 in the conference. Totally possible. And they have guys who, like, can definitely make that happen. They have shooters, too, so, yeah. I don't know. It will be an interesting season, I think, for Nebraska. Sort of we talked in the ACC about just some of these spoiler teams. They, to me, might be one of those, like, spoiler teams where they just completely wreck other teams' seasons. But as far as Nebraska in and of themselves, I'm not really expecting them to do much. I don't think they make the tournament, so we'll see. I forget what tier I put them in, but we'll see at the end of the episode. So, yeah, that's Nebraska.